Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna, everyone. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. Ama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Sri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hari Bolo. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So, we are getting to the real core of what we were starting to discuss in the beginning. We are coming to Mantra Guru understanding. Last week we came to the conclusion or the understanding that Mantra Guru is giving the mantra, but also there are other mantras he gives, which can be even in English. It doesn't matter. Anything which helps deliver one is a mantra. So, Mantra Guru would be giving mantra, which is mentioned in the Narada Pancharatrika, and also the instructions to perfect the mantra. And we will go more and more in this understanding, like more and more details. Srila Prabhupada, all over his teachings, he's giving this understanding. The mantra means mantra uh, plus the plus the instructions with the mantra. So, in that same understanding, there are many places Srila Prabhupada talks about, but let us go start with where he starts talking about in 135 CC Adi Leela, where he bring this up. Okay. So CC Adi Leela, we have done this thing many times. That's what we have 135. Mantra Guru Arayata Shiksha Guru Gana Tahara Charan Age Kariye Vandan. Mantra Guru is the initiating spiritual master. That's what Srila Jeev Goswami is explaining, and with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is expanding on it. And Srila Prabhupada is faithfully but very sweetly he has translated from those purports of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati from from his Anubhashya commentary. So here on this topic, Srila Prabhupada says, a devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master because in the scriptures, acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. There is no limit, however, to the number of instructing spiritual masters one may accept. Generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructs a disciple in spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master later on. So, this is the instruction which we wanted to focus on today, and which is in relation to what we were discussing yesterday, that mantra guru means he is instructing about the mantra too. And let me bring up all the other instructions too of Srila Prabhupada. Here it is. Okay. So in Dhruv Maharaj's pastime, Srila Prabhupada talks about something similar. He says, actually, Dhruv Maharaj, this is from 4th canto, 12th chapter, 32nd verse. In that purport, he is explaining that actually Dhruv Maharaj's mother, Suniti, was his Patha Pradarshak Guru. Patha Pradarshak Guru means the Guru or the spiritual master who shows the way. Such a Guru is sometimes called Shiksha Guru. Although Narada Muni was his Diksha Guru, initiating spiritual master, Suniti, his mother, was the first who gave him instruction on how to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the duty of the Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru to instruct the disciple in the right way, and it depends on the disciple to execute the process. According to Shastric injunctions, there is no difference between Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, and generally the Shiksha Guru later on becomes the Diksha Guru. It is the same instructions that we just heard in 135 purport, what we were just reading. Generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructs a disciple in spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master later on. In both the places, you can see this. See, the same words he uses, huh? Generally, the Shiksha Guru later on. Here also later on becomes a Diksha Guru. So this is a instruction. And we were hearing about last week when we were just at the end, Balram Prabhu was talking about Dhruv Maharaj and Narad Muni. So we went through these already, where Narad Muni in 4th canto, 8th chapter, from verses 42 to 52, he gives him lots of instructions like a Shiksha Guru. Gave him instructions on how to remember, how to meditate, how to go, where to go, to Vrindavan, sit in Yamuna, near Yamuna river after taking bath, control the life hairs, yam niyam, pranayama, and then asana, that whole dhyan yoga, and then remember Krishna like this. Gave him all these instructions. So 42 to 52, he gave all these instructions. Then on 53rd verse, he he initiated him with the mantra. He actually starts telling him that, O son of king, now I shall speak unto you the mantra which is to be chanted with this process of meditation. So this was the shiksha given first. Then he told him to chant the mantra with that shiksha, which is also part of mantra. One who carefully chants this mantra for 7 nights can see the perfect human beings flying in the sky. And we were reading last week. It is said by authoritative sources that any mantra chanted without having been received from the disciplic succession has no efficacy. We won't go in the detail about this because we are going to take up another purport which Srila Prabhupada really goes deeply into this. How is this effective? So then he gave him, this is the 54th verse, is the initiation verse. So he says, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Mantre Nanena Devasya Kuryat Dravya Mayim Buddha Saparyam Vividher Dravyer Deshakala Vibhagavit. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is the 12 syllable mantra for worshipping Lord Krishna. One should install the physical forms of the Lord, and with the chanting of the mantra, one should offer flowers and fruits and other varieties of foodstuffs exactly according to the rules and regulations prescribed by authorities. And this should be done in time, place, and circumstances. So we can see the Shiksha Guru later on becomes the Diksha Guru like this, by giving instructions, by preparing, by training, by purifying, and then carries on from there. So Diksha Guru's instructions don't finish after giving just the mantra, or it starts before and it continues after, till full deliverance, or till the effect of the mantra is fully manifested. It's called perfecting the mantra, and we will hear in Madhya Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing Sanatan Goswami in, I forget the chapter name, but there Lord Chaitanya gives him the instruction about how to chant the mantra, and he talks about the perfecting the mantra. So we will go once in future discussion, we will go to those verses. So let's go. This is the verse I wanted to really discuss in depth with all of you. I understand a little bit, so hopefully by discussing, more things will be revealed. Would somebody like to read this? Maybe we'll go to this actually verse 2:422. Let us do this. 1 second, 2:422. You, the process of creation. Okay. Okay, let's read this. Shukdev Goswami is praying. Is somebody would like to? It's quite technical. I think we should go through these word by word. Somebody would like to read? Anybody?
I'd like to read.
Perfect. Hare Krishna, Rasa Bihari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Should I start from the synonyms or from the text?
Verse is good because we were just hearing the mantra. This
Okay.
verse is actually talking about the mantra, how these words
Okay.
power themselves. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Shesha Atamar Mavatam Arishvaras Traimayo Dharmarmaya Stahormaya Katarvil Valike Raja Sankara Debrir Vitavrikya Lingor Bhagavan Prashidatam. I forgot the actual the tone it was supposed to be singing. Sorry.
Perfect. This is perfect, Prabhu. Great. Thank you.
Okay. And then the synonyms.
Yeah.
Okay. Sa is he. Esha, it is. Atma, the super soul. Atma Vatam, of the self-realized souls. Adhishvara, the supreme soul. The supreme Lord. Chai Maya, personified Vedas. Dharma Maya, personified religious scripture. Tapa Maya, Maya, personified austerity. Gata Likai, no, Vial Likai, by those who are above all pretensions. Aja, Brahmaji, uh, Sankara Aribihi, or by Lord Shiva and others, Vitarika Lingahar, Vitar, no, Vitarkya Lingaha, one who is observed with awe and veneration. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, and Rasidatam, be kind toward me. And translation, he is the super soul and the supreme lord of all self-realized souls. He is the personification of the Vedas, religious scriptures, and austerities. He is worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and all those who are transcendental to all pretensions. Being so revered in awe and revered with awe and veneration, may the Supreme Absolute be pleased with me. And purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, although the Lord of all followers of different paths of self-realization, is knowable only by those who are above all pretensions. Everyone is searching for eternal peace or eternal life, and with an aim to this destination, everyone is either studying the Vedic scriptures or other religious scriptures, or undergoing severe austerity as empiric philosophers, as mystic yogis, or as unalloyed devotees, etc. But the Supreme Lord is perfectly realized only by the devotees, because they are above all pretensions. Those who are on the path of self-realization are generally classified as karmis, jnanis, yogis, or devotees of the Lord. The karmis, who are much attracted by the fruitive activities of the Vedic rituals, are called bhuktikami, or those who desire material enjoyment. The jnanis, who try to become one with the Supreme by mental speculation, are called muktikami, or those who desire liberation from the material existence. The mystic yogis, who practice different types of austerities for attainment of 8 kinds of material perfection. Yes, okay. Who ultimately meet the supersoul Paramatma in trance, are called Siddhikami, or those who desire the perfection of becoming finer than the finest, becoming heavier than the heaviest, getting everything desired, having control over everyone, creating everything liked, etc. All these are abilities of the powerful yogi, but the devotees of the Lord do not want anything like that for self-satisfaction. They want only to serve the Lord because the Lord is great. Sorry.
Good.
1 second. Okay. I'm back. Where was I? Yes. For the Lord, oh yes, to serve the Lord because the Lord is great, and as living entities, they are eternally subordinate parts and parcels of the Lord. The perfect realization of self by the devotee helps him to become desireless, to desire nothing for his personal self. And thus the devotees are called nishkami, without any desire. A living entity, by its constitutional position, cannot be void of all desires. The bhuktikami, muktikami, and siddhikami all desire something for personal satisfaction. But the nishikami, devotees of the Lord, desire everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. They are completely dependent on the Lord, on the orders of the Lord, and they are always ready to discharge their duties for the satisfaction of the Lord. In the beginning, Arjuna placed himself as one of those who desire self-satisfaction, for he desired not to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. But to make him desireless, the Lord preached the Bhagavad Gita, in which the ways of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Hatha Yoga and Bhakti Yoga were explained. Because Arjuna was without any pretension, he changed his decision and satisfied the Lord by agreeing to fight. Karishye Vachanam Tava. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 70, or text 73. And thus he became desireless. The examples of Brahma and Lord Shiva are specifically cited here because Brahmija, Lord Shiva, and Srimati Lakshmiji, and the 4 Kumaras, Sanka, Sanatana, etc., are leaders of the 4 desireless Vaishnava Sampradayas. They are all freed from all pretensions. Srila Jiva Goswami interprets the word Gata Yalikai, as Rajita Kaitarvai, or those who are freed from all pretensions, the unalloyed devotees only. In the Chaitanya Caritamrita, Madhya, chapter 19, verse 149, it said, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atareva Shanta Bhukti Mukti. Oh, sorry. Bhukti Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atareva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Shiri Kama Shakali Ashanta. Those who are after fruitive results for their pious activities, those who desire salvation and identity with the Supreme, and those who desire material perfections of mystic powers are all restless because they want something for themselves. But the devotee is completely peaceful because he has no demand for himself and is always ready to serve the desire of the Lord. The conclusion is therefore that the Lord is for everyone, because no one can achieve the results of his respective desires.
One second, Prabhu. Wondering what's going on.
Oh, it's scrolling on its own?
No, it's me doing it.
Oh, okay.
What's happened to this verse? It's 22. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
So sorry. So actually, could you read this?
Yes. May the Lord, who in the beginning of creation amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. And purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As we already discussed here and before, the Lord, as the super soul of all living beings, from Brahma to the insignificant ant, endows all the required knowledge potent in every living being. A living being is sufficiently potent to possess knowledge from the Lord, and in a portion of 50 64th, or 50 64s, or 78th, or 78% of the knowledge acquirable, since the living being is constitutionally part and parcel of the Lord. He is unable to assimilate all the knowledge of the Lord that the Lord possesses himself. In a conditioned state, the living being is subject to forget everything after a change of body known as death. This potent knowledge is again inspired by the Lord from within the heart of every living being. And it is known as the awakening of knowledge, for it is comparable to awakening from sleep or unconsciousness. This awakening of knowledge is under the full control of the Lord, and therefore we find in the practical world different grades of knowledge in different persons. This awakening of knowledge is neither an automatic nor a material interaction. The supply source is the Lord himself, the Pati. For even Brahma is also subject to this regulation of the Supreme Creator. In the beginning of the creation, Brahma is born first without any father or mother, because before Brahma, there was no other living beings. Brahma is born from the lotus, which grows from the abdomen of the Garbha Dakashayi Vishnu, and therefore he is known as Aja. This Brahma, or Aja, is also a living being, and part and parcel of the Lord. But being the most pious devotee of the Lord, Brahma is inspired by the Lord to create. Subsequent to the main creation by the Lord. Okay, subsequent creation by the Lord. Through the agency of material nature, therefore, neither the material nature nor Brahma is independent of the Lord. The material science Scientists can merely observe the reactions of the material nature without understanding the direction behind such activities, as a child can see the action of electricity without any knowledge of the powerhouse engineer. The imperfect knowledge of the material scientist is due to a poor fund of knowledge. The Vedic knowledge was therefore most first impregnated within Brahma, and it appears that Brahma distributed the Vedic knowledge. Brahma is undoubtedly the speaker of the Vedic knowledge, but actually he is inspired by the Lord to receive such transcendental knowledge as it is directly descends from the Lord, as it directly descends from the Lord. The Vedas are therefore called apor, aporushaya, aporushaya, or not imparted by any created being. Therefore, the Lord was there. Therefore, before, sorry, before the creation, the Lord was there. Narayana, Narayana Paror Vyaptat. And therefore, the words spoken by the Lord are vibrations of transcendental sound. There is a gulf of difference between the two qualities of sound, namely parakta, no, prakrita, and aprakt, aprap, apraktita, rita. The physicists can deal only with the prakrita sound, or sound vibrated by the material sky, or in the material sky. And therefore, we must know that the Vedic sounds recorded in the symbolic expressions cannot be understood by anyone within the universe until one is inspired by the vibration of supernatural aprarita sound, which descends in a chain of disciplic succession from the Lord to Brahma, from Brahma to Narada, from Narada to Vyasa, and so on. No mundane scholar can translate or reveal the true import of Vedic mantras, hymns. They cannot be understood unless one is inspired or initiated by authorized spiritual master. The original spiritual master is the Lord himself, and the succession comes down through the sources of parampara, or as clearly stated in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So unless one receives the transcendental knowledge from the authorized parampara, one should be considered a useless vipala mata, even though one may be greatly qualified in the mundane advancements of arts or science. Shukadeva Goswami is praying from the Lord by dint of being inspired from within by the Lord so that he could rightly explain the facts and figures of creation as inquired by Maharaja Parikshit. A spiritual master is not a theoretical speculator, like a mundane scholar, but is Shrotriyam Brahma Nishtam. Wow.
Great. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
There you go.
So I found this verse really good, this purport, because it's giving the explanation of the mantra, the power of the mantra. It's coming from the Lord, but also that one cannot understand the mantra and the how to even chant the mantra, what to speak of having it becoming effective without being inspired by the Lord from the heart. And that inspiration from the heart would come according to the how we are able to please the spiritual master, which is the initiation process. We were discussing the initiation process all this while we have been discussing, and that initiation process was taking shelter of a Mahabhagavat, a pure devotee of the Lord, and becoming his servant by and then trying to please him, trying to obey his instructions, trying to please him. And once if he's pleased, to the degree he's pleased, to that degree the knowledge is revealed and detachment comes. So this transcendental knowledge, this divya gyan, that's what I was thinking we can go forward in reading more. But before we go forward, This is just like a gist I'm understanding, but please, if anyone has any other things to point out in this, there is much to unravel in this purport. Mathurapati Prabhu, you want to say something, explain this further?
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
You can explain. I want to hear now, and then later I say something.
Okay. Anyone else would like to explain this further?
Actually, today,
Yeah.
Atmarama Prabhu, he was asking, we were in the lecture. So his question was how it is that I have so many of doubts about something, about spiritual matter. If I'm on the street and I'm speaking with someone and want to tell him something about spiritual science, and actually from inside, I'm not absolutely sure what I say because I'm not fully realized. So what is the difference if someone can understand all this and believe everything without that, and some other he is explaining, but he's with some depth, no? So then I only have said what I know, that actually if we have some doubts, is right doubts, no? The right word? Doubt?
Yeah.
So if someone have doubt, then he must be in material energy, because doubt and all the problematics is always in matter. If someone comes automatically, really fully in Bhakti Yoga means fully in internal energy. There's completely knowledge there. There's no more doubt. Everything is very clear. And this is automatically, so that we can analyze ourselves how deeply in which energy we are, even if we are doing all the services. So because if we would do the service perfectly externally and internally, that would be actually a Raganuga. And then it's of course clear we are fully in internal energy. But so devotees in the temple, they do 24 hours services after initiation, bhajana, kriya, everything, but externally, but inside is also, no, we are not thinking 24 hours on Krishna. That would be, otherwise we have not more to follow so strictly all the rules and regulations. Eh? But okay, but we do it. And so long we are not on this platform, so we have depths and all this, because the initiation process is going like we have read now, like step by step, more and more. So how deep we are surrendered to the bona fide spiritual master. At first, he must be out, otherwise there would be not so potent. And then if we go on and satisfy him, and then Krishna can give more and more this Hladini, Samvit, and Sandini. This like water from the tap is coming more and more. And automatically, if we make happy the spiritual master, and then Krishna is happy, and then he can give more water. So more Sandini, more Samvit, more Hladini. And so after, so how the master or Krishna and spiritual master want to give it to us. So if we go one step to Krishna, then he can come 3 steps to us and give us more happiness and everything. So that's all one part of the initiation, goes on and on and on. That is a little bit what I have, let's say, understood also. If someone is fully, deeply in this Bhakti Devi energy, in pleasing master or devotees in Krishna,
Yes.
then there's no doubt. Everything is very clear. That actually in the end, such a person is called Tattva. He has seen everything. There's no more doubt. But to come to this platform, we must come now. Very good surrender and whatever we read here. So please, you can also say something then.
Yeah, no, this is very good. I wanted to, this part about what you are saying, no, that all the inspiration from the heart, which comes when we are under the shelter of the internal energy in the three aspects. That's the whole, the reason why we're chanting, becoming, if the chanting becomes effective, that's the whole result of it, what he is explaining. So Srila Prabhupada, he's explaining this process more and more, this, how this happens. And so I just wanted to go through this a little bit more, and we come to this Divya Gyan. This Gadadhar Pandit, Vallabha Bhatta, he wanted to be initiated by Gadadhar Pandit. So here also in this verse 7:150 says Panditera Thani चाहे मंत्र आदि सीखते mantra adi sikite is shiksha. So mantra and adi means and, so which means initiated also. So to be initiated doesn't mean just mantra one is getting, one is also, adi means and, one is getting mantra and shiksha, which means getting initiated. So it's an interesting thing that I found. Then Advaita Acharya also, when he was initiated by Madhvendra Puri. So here he got,
Wait, one question.
yeah,
For this point with Vallabha, what was the name? And Gadadhar Pandit, this was Vallabha, Vallabha Bhatta.
yeah.
So therefore, this was going on Facebook always, because I use this also for my philosophical discourses on Facebook, sometimes on somewhere. For some other, they say, okay, if someone now in ISKCON come to the platform of Uttamadikari, he automatically can immediately start with initiating. So he is the Diksha Guru. Right? There are some different Ritvik parties. So the hardcore and the softcore and all this. The other, they say there is never, in ISKCON, there can never be another Diksha Guru as Srila Prabhupada as to the end of life of ISKCON.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the other, they say, if there's some qualification, then if some reach the platform of Uttamadikari, actually he can start to initiate on his own name.
Mm-hmm.
But in this is the proof that actually if someone, because Gadata, who can be higher than Gadata? Actually, this is like Krishna and Radharani, something in one maybe even, so what to say. So even they cannot initiate in the Lila immediately. I must ask, so that means qualification and authorization actually. Also, that means also if someone come to the platform of Uttamadikari, he can also give some, he can be also Uttamadikari Mahabhagavata Shiksha Guru. There's not the force to be automatically, immediately a Diksha Guru. So I have not read like this actually, but
yeah, so the thing is that this argument, no, that definitely is correct what you are saying. But the problem with this argument is that it is not it can because people make all these foolish arguments against it and then become convinced that it is not important, this particular rule, or because they say, oh, where did Srila Prabhupada get instruction? So it's not like there is like a instruction written, then say, okay. So similarly, because Srila Prabhupada didn't get a written instruction which everybody else can see, we also, it's a desire of the spiritual master. That's what we have to understand and execute. So that kind of instruction is given. So what I say to that is, if can anyone initiate? So if they are, let's say they become Uttamadhikari, we went through this in Nectar of Devotion. and many other places, but in Nectar of Devotion, because Srila Rupa Goswami has actually brought all the essence here of the Bhakti Shastra in the first aspect of practicing devotional service was to take shelter of the spiritual master, right? This is the evidence for the first one. To take shelter of the spiritual master is to this Guru Ashraya. In that, we went through this. There are four aspects of taking shelter of the Guru. And the first aspect is to accept the spiritual master, not only a spiritual master, but also the representative of God. That's the first one. No? That a disciple should accept the spiritual master as such. He is God, basically, in a sense. Then the next one is how to take shelter of the spiritual master is one learns Bhagavatam from him. Okay? This hearing and speaking Srimad Bhagavatam is a religious process which one elevates one. So the third one, of course, is that one should satisfy the spiritual master, and the fourth is to have full faith in him, unflinching faith in him. Then the purpose of the Vedas will be revealed. So this is how you take shelter. So the second one, which Uttam Adhikari in ISKCON is writing Bhagavatam? Whom can we learn Bhagavatam from daily? Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, no? It's not just one class, two class like this. The whole of Bhagavatam one should study, no? There is no answer to that, whether it's Gaudiya Math, whether it's anybody. All over the world, this is Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam is the only one. He is the only one who has been empowered to translate Bhagavatam according to the Bhakti Shastra, Bhakti Parampara, around the world, available in all so many languages. You know? So I just wanted to go forward here, even in Advaita Acharya, when he begged for initiation, there in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that a person may be a Brahmana, but if he's Shudra, Shudra or whatever, but if he is well conversant in the science of Krishna, he can become Guru. This statement is supported by Sri Madhavendra Puri. A spiritual master simply must be conversant in the essence of the Shastra. He must understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only then can one become a spiritual master. Diksha actually means initiating a disciple with transcendental knowledge, by which he becomes freed from all material contamination. This is very famous line phrase that we all understand. What does it mean, the transcendental knowledge? What does it mean that he's initiating with transcendental knowledge? He's giving knowledge. So Srila Jiva Goswami, he explains the Diksha in Bhakti Sandarbha 2833, which is from this famous 15 chapter 108 verse, where he says, this is also from Bhakti Sandarbha 283. Diksha is the process by which one can awaken his transcendental knowledge and vanquish all reactions caused by sinful activity. A person expert in the study of the revealed scriptures knows this process as Diksha. This Divyam Jnanam, this is, he says, awaken his transcendent knowledge. We were just reading in the purport from which Rasa Bihari Prabhu was reading, where Srila Prabhupada was talking about how Krishna is in the heart. He, according to his, according to how we are getting initiated by the spiritual master, he awakens this knowledge from the heart. It is full knowledge is present with him, but according to how much one is surrendering, that much knowledge is awakened. What was the exact word? Let us go there. Actually, it's there in this, right below this. Um, hmm. Be understood by everyone until one is inspired by the vibration of the supernatural sound. Okay, that we understood. Cannot be understood one is inspired by the initiation. There is, I think you have to go to the purport 2422. Before that, he was saying, does anyone remember? He was saying, according to Brahma also gets this awakening of knowledge is under the full control of the Lord, and therefore we find in the practical world different grades of knowledge in different persons. This awakening of knowledge is neither an automatic nor a material interaction. The supply source is the Lord Himself. For even Brahma is also subject to this regulation. So he, according to criteria, he is inspiring or not inspiring, or to the degree, different grades he is giving this knowledge. And of course, we understand from this one who has unflinching faith, for him, full purports are revealed. So, and ye yatha mam prapadyante. So let's go more into this. He is explaining this thing further, how this transcendental knowledge, Divyam Gyan, is awakened. So everyone remembers this meeting of the Lord Krishna with Sudama Brahman, right? My dear friend, everyone should consider his father to be his first teacher, because by the mercy of one's father one gets this body. The father is therefore the natural spiritual master. Our next spiritual master is he who initiates us into transcendental knowledge. This is again same thing. Initiates into transcendental knowledge. And he is to be worshipped as much as I am. The spiritual master may be more than one. The spiritual master who instructs the disciples about spiritual matters is called Shiksha Guru, and the spiritual master who initiates one, the disciple, is called Diksha Guru, and is already initiates with transcendental knowledge. Both of them are my representatives. There may be many spiritual masters who instruct, but the initiator spiritual master is one. A human being who takes advantage of these spiritual masters and receives proper knowledge from them crosses the ocean of material existence, is to be understood as having properly utilized his human form of life. He has practical knowledge, transcendental knowledge, practical knowledge, that the ultimate interest of life, which is to be gained only in this human form, is to achieve spiritual perfection and thus be transferred back home, back to Godhead. So it looks more and more that Shiksha Guru and Pathapradarshak Guru, many other gurus, give instructions, including Diksha Guru. Initially, he's giving instructions, but at a certain time, one guru, one Diksha Guru, becomes a Diksha Guru, where, according to his pleasure, the transcendental, that knowledge which is being given from the heart, Krishna starts awakening it. This awakening of transcendental knowledge, where was that awakens? This Diksha is the process by which one can awaken his transcendental knowledge. So instructions are being given by everybody, many people. But this awakening of transcendental knowledge from the heart, that only comes through initiating Guru. From Krishna.
But then we can also say that if there's something awakened, that means it is still there. Because actually all the Vedas, I have some there, I read in some book also that the Vedas are in us even, but we cannot now go ourselves, so because we are not like Narada Muni or something. So therefore we need a Diksha Guru that he can directly awaken what is inside. Is this correct? Huh?
Yeah, it's here also Srila Krishna is saying, Srila Prabhupada is writing there.
It is now covered, and this is the problem. The real Diksha Guru, he can take out the cover.
Exactly. That's why this purport is, I can't really grasp it, the spiritual. Transcendental knowledge is not coming, but it is very important. As we have already discussed here and before, the Lord is the super soul of all living beings from Brahma to insignificant and endows all with the required knowledge potent in every living being. A living being is sufficient potent to possess knowledge from the Lord in the proportion of 56 fourth or the 78% of the full knowledge acquirable. Since the living being is constitutionally part and parcel of the Lord, he is unable to assimilate all the knowledge that the Lord possesses himself. In the conditioned state, the living being is subject to forget everything after a change of body, known as death. This potent knowledge is again inspired by the Lord from within the heart of every living being, and it is known as the awakening of knowledge, for it is comparable to awakening from sleep or unconsciousness. This awakening of knowledge is under the full control of the Lord, and therefore we find in the practical world different grades of knowledge in different persons. Where else he kept on going, and then he says the Vedic knowledge was therefore first impregnated within Brahma, and it appears that Brahma distributed the Vedic knowledge. Brahma is undoubtedly the speaker of the Vedic knowledge, but actually he was inspired by the Lord to receive such transcendental knowledge as it directly descends from the Lord. So, I mean, we can keep reading it again. I really advise everyone to keep reading it, maybe for a few days, every day. Read this. But this is the thing I understand from Diksha. Transcendental knowledge gets awakened, come to him. There is knowledge which Krishna is uncovering within our heart, so that we can even do all the material desires. Like a child when he's born, then the child knows where to go, take the milk, how to drink milk. All that is knowledge, material knowledge. It is coming. Krishna awakens it within the heart. But transcendental knowledge, Divyam Jnanam, which brings one closer to the Lord, he gives based on the process of Diksha. Now, this is exemplified in this verse. People say whether Arjuna is Shiksha Guru, people say, oh, Srila Prabhupada is prominent Shiksha Guru. All that doesn't work. I mean, this is the verse which talking about what is Diksha. So I was thinking maybe we can read this verse, or maybe not. So long we have already 11 o'clock.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah.
True that no, in that purport we have read just like it is covered in our heart.
Yeah.
So when a spiritual master gives instruction, then it awakens. So it is
Yeah.
that shloka that nitya Krishna prem nitya
Yes.
sadhya shavanadi suddha chitta karo. So this
Rayodaya.
shavanadi shuddha chitta, it is what we take instruction from a spiritual master, or it is just oral reception we are hearing only, or how we connect that. No, it is awakened from heart that and one thing is we have to hear.
Right. So, see, it is a hearing process according to the when one takes shelter of the spiritual master. One is Guru Ashraya, one is taking shelter, one hears with faith and attention. Faith means he's as good as God. Faith means he's perfect. And one is hearing the Bhagavatam, which has all the five rasas, everything included in the Bhagavatam. So that Shravanam is being talked about, the way to hear also, and the surrendering process of hearing, which is exemplified in the tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. That same thing is there. So that's how the knowledge which we are hearing becomes revealed from the heart. That's what. Let's see this thing. So I'll not read this verse again, Tadvidi Pranipatena, but only little bit. Please do read it on your time again, this verse. But Tadvidi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Updekshanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattva Darshina. That knowledge of different sacrifices, Vidhi, try to understand. Pranipatena, by approaching a spiritual master. Pariprashnena, by submissive inquiries. Sevaya, by the rendering of service. Upadekshanti, initiate. Te, unto you. Jnanam, knowledge. Jnanina, the self-realized. Tattva, truth. Darshina, the seers. So again, Updekshanti is initiate. So he uses the word impart. Impart knowledge unto you. Unto you, jnanam. Okay. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So we can see this is not just knowledge. One can get knowledge by reading anywhere, even from Srila Prabhupada books. But one has to inquire from him submissively, render service unto him. Then the transcendental knowledge gets revealed in the heart. That's the Diksha process. So this verse is actually talking about Arjuna getting Diksha. It's not a Shiksha Parampara or Shiksha knowledge or like that. This is a Diksha. And that's why Srila Prabhupada translated it like that. Diksha, initiate. So in CC introduction, Srila Prabhupada writes, this is the, where he uses the word impart. This is the method of parampara or disciplic succession. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam explains that Krishna imparted knowledge into the heart of Brahma, the first created creature within the universe. Brahma imparted those lessons to his disciple Narada, and Narada imparted that knowledge to his disciple Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva imparted it to Madhvacharya, and from Madhvacharya the knowledge has come down to Madhavendra Puri, to Ishvara Puri, and from him to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is in the original CC, otherwise it has been changed. This impart is important, as we just read, Srila Prabhupada. He is this initiate, he is translating in as impart. He says, just try to learn the truth by approaching his master, inquire from him submissively. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you. But in the word to word, he is saying initiate. So, and this is how we understand it is the revelation of the knowledge. And this is again referring to this. We have this this controversy in the changed Bhagavad Gita that this Jnanina has been translated in the changed as self-realized souls, and instead of he has been translated as they. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from them submissively or something like that. Is their self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth, like that. But because this is Diksha, Srila Prabhupada, as he writes in 135, Adi 135, a devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master, because in the scriptures, acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. There is no limit, however, to the instructing spiritual masters. And many times I've seen him translating this verse 434. He's never made it plural. He's always made it singular for the translations. So this is referring to specifically Diksha Guru, one Diksha Guru.
Yeah, ISKCON have changed, no?
Yeah. Yes. So in this,
even in our in one of the 1947, even moment in I know in the second second edition of Bhagavad Gita in ISKCON, they have even by one-to-one translation, they have by Upadeshyanti, they have not more written initiate something else, but you could not understand that means initiate even. This was very heavy. Therefore, we could not directly print this version, so that we have to make a completely new version because so many of these problems was there.
Yeah. So this spiritual realization is the same as transcendental awakening of transcendental knowledge. And the process is this: one has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. And this is the whole point: satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master. That's how one gets more and more transcendental knowledge. Advancement means more and more transcendental knowledge, by which one can become detached and develop love of Lord. And this whole, we know, inquiry, submission, submissive hearing. And one knows that by following this Diksha process, the transcendental knowledge, what will happen, which is in the next verse 435. And when you have thus learned the truth, you will know that all living beings are but part of me, and then they are in me and are mine. Purport Srila Prabhupada writes, the result of receiving knowledge from a self-realized soul, receiving knowledge is basically, here it is, awakening knowledge, or one who knows things as they are, is learning that all living beings are part and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. The sense of separated is Maya. For want of sufficient knowledge in the absolute science, we are now covered with illusion, and therefore we think that we are separate from Krishna. The whole teaching of the Gita is targeted toward the end that a living being, as his eternal servitor, cannot be separated from Krishna, and his sense of being an identity apart from Krishna is called Maya. The living beings, living entities as separate parts and parcels of the Supreme have a purpose to fulfill. Having forgotten their purpose is time immemorial, they are situated in different bodies as men, animals, demigods, etc. Such bodily differences arise from forgetfulness of the transcendental service of the Lord. When one is engaged in transcendental service through Krishna consciousness, one becomes at once liberated from this illusion. One can acquire such pure knowledge, this pure knowledge, which is awakening of this knowledge from the heart, only from the bona fide spiritual master, and therefore avoid the delusion that the living entity is equal to Krishna. Perfect knowledge is that Supreme Soul, Krishna is supreme shelter of all living entities, and giving up such shelter, the living entities are deluded by the material energy. So this chapter, no, this chapter is transcendental knowledge. This transcendental knowledge is the fourth chapter. So this goes on. This fourth chapter keeps on. 437 talks about, as the blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities, which we were hearing in Srila Jiva Goswami, that what is Diksha. He translates it as, Diksha is the process by which one can awaken his transcendental knowledge and vanquish all reactions caused by sinful activities. So this is again in 437. As the blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge, which is transcendent knowledge, burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. And in 438, Krishna says, in this world there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge, Divyam Jnanam. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has achieved this enjoys the self within himself in due course of time. So then Srila Prabhupada explains, when we speak of transcendental knowledge, we do so in terms of spiritual understanding. As such, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Ignorance is the cause of our bondage, and knowledge is the cause of our liberation. This knowledge is the mature fruit of devotional service, and when one is situated in transcendent knowledge, he need not search for peace elsewhere, for he enjoys peace within himself. In other words, this knowledge and peace are culminated in Krishna consciousness. That is the last word in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah.
Yes, it is mentioned that that what you call that matured fruit of devotion service. When one is engaged in devotion service, then this transcendental knowledge will awaken. So
Yeah.
that is transcendental knowledge. So generally, that knowledge, gyan, what we call that mental speculation or what we
No,
gyan
Gyan is not mental speculation.
gyan karm anavrita.
No,
That is
Gyan is like let's say I am telling you something. That is just Gyan. The transcendental knowledge doesn't come by me telling you. It comes by you surrendering to the spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, serving him, pleasing him, and maybe this helps to serve so that one pleases him. Because only he can turn on and off the switch, no one else can. So but doesn't mean that if I'm telling you something that is mental speculation. It could be, it may not be. So there are these levels of
shloka that Gyan Karm Anavata, that Anukulena Krishna
yeah.
Bhakti Rutam. That is non, that Gyan is mental speculation. I think it is
No,
mentioned
no,
here.
that gyan is not mental speculation. That gyan could be based on scriptures, but the purpose of that pursuit is just knowledge, not trying to achieve Krishna. Then, when one tries to achieve the Supreme Lord, the owner of everything, the origin of everything, that gyan turns into gyan yoga, jnana yoga. That is also devotional service, buddhi yoga. But it becomes buddhi yoga, devotional service, when one has that attitude and one surrenders to a spiritual master. But otherwise, it doesn't become jnana yoga, it remains jnana. But mental speculation is not even jnana. It is like one is just, it's in material sphere. It's just going here, there, here, there. What in this context we are talking about gyan in Vedic concept, people would look at the Vedas and then say, oh, this here it says this, here it says that. So at least this is knowledge, no, is being pursued. Mental speculation is just making up knowledge, making up words, making up concepts.
One
This con-
question.
Yes, Prabhu?
Let's say you have a completely materialistic scientist, a physics scientist or chemistry, like maybe even Svarudamada in the beginning or something like this, huh? Or Max Planck or Einstein
Yeah.
or whatever. You take someone, this is actually also a Jnani, huh? You can say. So some other, he's like a Jnani, and later he meet his spiritual master, let's say Srila Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada say maybe, okay, you can use this, you can still be in your occupation duty as scientist, but try to prove God, Krishna, completely on your level with all your what you have learned.
Mhm.
So then what he is in the beginning? Immediately he's a bhakti yogi or a jnana yogi for you?
Jnana yogi, because that concept is still there, jnana. Trying to use jnana in Krishna's service. And bhakti yogi becomes that whatever Krishna wants me to do, he wants me to use this gyan, I will use this. He wants me to just use my hands, I'll use it. That is bhakti yoga.
Yeah, but where is the border? Let's say, okay, actually it is also Gyan Yogi, but he can also be a pure devotee later,
Yeah.
but still he can be like of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates. Who was the medicine man? I forget the name.
Murari Gupta.
Yes. So also pure devotee, and they can be whatever, no? And someone can be also a physician, scientist, or chemistry, but a pure devotee, but he can do his occupation duty completely only to prove Sri Krishna. But where is the border from how long he is a Jnana yogi and how he is then a pure bhakti yogi, and still he can be in same occupation duty? This is sometimes very difficult.
Let's hear from other devotees, no? Hmm?
So
Anyone?
that when he is completely surrendered to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada say, you use only your business or your job only to prove that God is absolute reality, and you can do it with all your accumulated knowledge. So if he follow this, then what he is then? Actually, he must be also a bhakti yogi somehow. Because every day he is following the morning program, he's chanting, and then he go to his company or his job, and then he start to try to convince scientists on very scientific level with all his accumulated knowledge, but only to use it to on the way of bhakti to bring others to Krishna consciousness with his knowledge on with all his words, or because normal Judra cannot understand what he is speaking, because he's speaking with such words that someone only who have studied all this, he can understand what is he
So,
speaking
Prabhu,
in his language.
Rasabihari Prabhu, Shuddha Sattva Prabhu, Shama Mataji.
So then he become bhakti yogi, or yeah,
Yeah.
yes or not?
Sure.
Jai Shri
Yes.
Krishna, Hari Bol. Of
Yes,
course.
Rasabihari Prabhu. Yes.
My last son.
Hari
Hey,
Bol. You're absolutely
Hare
right,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Govinda. But yes, I mean, I had the same speculation, about, somebody still engaging in the world and dealing with, their professions. But, they've given themselves fully over to surrendering to Krishna. I agree with you in saying that it is bhakti yoga.
Okay. Let's hear from other devotees, no? So, what do people think? What the question is, does when one is under the instruction of the spiritual master, one is going to work, one is maybe doing this kind of scientific research, and then chanting, sadhaka. Is he practicing bhakti yoga, or is he practicing jnana yoga, or other yogas?
So I would say in my analysis, he must be a
Shuddha
bhakti
Sattva
yogi
Prabhu.
after some time.
Yes, Shuddha
Yeah.
Sattva.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Based on like many places, Prabhupada gave the examples of various devotees, even though they were in a process of different kinds of yoga, but Prabhupada put them as categorized as devotees of the Lord. So, and Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita also many times he, like in the Sankhya Yoga philosophy, when he's translating, many times yoga he's translating as Bhakti Yoga.
Yeah.
So, even though they are, see all these branches, Jnana, Prabhupada, I think, I don't remember where he has mentioned, but if I, based on what I have read before, I think many times it's has been mentioned that all different kinds of yoga system, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga, if they are done in a relationship with the Lord, they will be considered as Bhakti Yoga.
Mhm.
And they are in a way, Bhakti Yoga is a superset, and these are all different limbs uh,
Mhm.
of Bhakti Yoga.
Mhm. Okay, anyone else?
Yeah,
Yes.
that it seems just like all these things, Gyan Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, when it is applied directly in service of Krishna, just like that Muni he married to Devahuti. I forgot the name because in that Srila Prabhupada he was a yogi. Srila Prabhupada mentioned there that he was a pure devotee. So just like Prabhupada,
Cardamom.
he, yeah,
Cardamom.
Kardama, just like that na example that mango, ripen mango, and so anything done in the guidance of pure devotee, that is devotional service. It is a matter only he will that mature it. It's, that is one point. And you are telling that if a person doing anything, just like a business or anything is doing, so just I'm asking, it depends on consciousness also, that in what consciousness he is doing. That also matters.
Mhm.
If you
Yeah,
tell
because what was the name of the of this pure devotee in Gauranga Lila who was selling the banana leaves?
Kovalaya,
Yeah,
Kovalaya,
yeah, yeah. So
Sridhar.
I read it in Mayapur always the Lila. So sweet. And actually, that someone can say, okay, he is such a businessman that he can be a karma yogi, but actually he's an absolute pure devotee. But he's always selling his business stuff. And then later on, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu nicely so cheated him a little bit nicely, and he was so confused that he had eaten even the leaves and not the banana because he was so bewildered later on because of yeah. But his business was every day selling all his business stuff. That sometimes someone can be bewildered. He is a karma yogi in Krishna consciousness. We have this in Bhagavad, or he is a pure bhakti yogi. What is the right word or label for all this? Huh? But this is really sometimes very difficult to put some of the label exactly. But there must be, like Pradyumna Prabhu he said, after some special consciousness, and by following the Guru, he must be a Bhakti Yoga, whatever he's doing, actually. No? So, but from beginning can be some karma yogi at first, later more and more and more surrendered, and then, but after some time, he can even be in same occupation duty, but his consciousness changed completely, and then he must be a pure devotee. Only Bhakti Yoga you can use, actually, then later. But where is the exact border? I can also not say.
श्यामा माता जी, you have anything? आपको बोलना है कुछ थोड़ा सा? सोमगिरी प्रभु. Yes, श्यामा माता जी. Christopher.
generally we have test in Jaipur. Na? Shama Mati ji is generally the topper. So she is,
I know. I remember. Hmm. Okay. Anyone else on this topic? I just want to read, if no one else is, I can read something what Srila Prabhupada writes. This is in the Madhya Leela, 19th chapter, 152nd verse. Let me bring it up. Sorry. In the purport where Lord Chaitanya instructs Srila Rupa Goswami. He writes, Bhakti Lata Bij means the seed of devotional service. Everything has an original cause or seed. For any idea, program, plan, or device, there is first of all the contemplation of the plan. And that is called bija or the seed. The methods, rules, and regulations by which one is perfectly trained in devotional service constitute the Bhakti Lata Bij or the seed of devotional service. This Bhakti Lata Bij is received from the spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. Other seeds are called Anya Abhilashita Bij, Anya Abhilasha Bij, Karma Bij, and Jnana Bij. If one is not fortunate enough to receive the Bhakti Lata Bij from the spiritual master, he instead cultivates the seeds of Karma Bija, Jnana Bija, or political and social or philanthropic Bija. However, Bhakti Lata Bij is different from these other Bijas. Bhakti Lata Beej can be received only through the mercy of the spiritual master. Therefore, one has to satisfy the spiritual master to get Bhakti Lata Bija, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasada. Bhakti Lata Bij is the origin of devotional service. Unless one satisfies the spiritual master, he gets the bij or root cause of karma, jnana, and yoga without the benefit of devotional service. However, one who is faithful to his spiritual master gets the Bhaktilata Bij. This Bhaktilata Bij is received when one is initiated by the bona fide spiritual master. After receiving the spiritual master's mercy, one must repeat his instructions, and this is called Shravanam Kirtana, hearing and chanting. One who has not properly heard from the spiritual master or who does not follow the regular principles is not fit for chanting. So, as I understand, no, that one he one is a devotee for sure. As a sadhaka, one is coming under the shelter, but it depends on how we are practicing this shelter. Are we taking shelter of him by thinking he's as good as God? We have implicit complete faith in him. Whatever he says is completely perfect. There is no mistake in it, whether we are able to follow or not follow. And we are hearing the Bhagavatam from him, like we are, Prabhupada says, Shravanam and Kirtanam is listening from him, especially the Bhagavatam. And the main thing is whatever he is asking us to do, we are trying to do so that we please him. This is not a quantifiable thing, Mathurapati Prabhu. One becomes a pure devotee or a bhakti yogi like this satisfaction. Because with this satisfaction, we get Bhakti Lata Bij. Otherwise, which is where
Yeah, but moment. Okay, this is now very important. Okay,
and jnana
we get this Bhakti Lata Beach, but
from the spiritual master.
yes, but you can be like even Ambarish Maharaj. He was fully in same time politician, Kshatriya. But in same time, he was really an absolute pure devotee, example of all the Vedas, how all 9 angas of devotional service can be properly done by even a political man. So because he's a pure, so that means he have not political bija, but in same time it was a service. But this was a pure Bhaktilata bija on the highest platform, growing until full perfection even. In same time can be a politician. And so that means not that he have only some politician bija.
Mhm.
This would be if he would not follow his spiritual master and not satisfied him or something, then someone can stay in his political bija or something in jnana. Swarup Damodar would be in jnana bija. If he don't follow Srila Prabhupada and use his jnana directly in Bhakti Yoga, then in this second, he get the Bhakti Lata Bija more and more growing because he's following Srila Prabhupada. And still he can have his occupation duty in his jnana, but it is not more jnana bija. So yeah,
correct.
I'm
So
right, or?
externally, whatever one is doing, no, the activity
Yeah.
that could be as a Brahman occupation, the Kshatriya occupation. That is nothing to do with the designate
Bija.
one. Yeah, bija is the desire, how one is doing it, why one is doing that, whatever one is doing, why. So that why, before we get from Krishna, from Srila Prabhupada, by pleasing him, the initiation means that transcendental knowledge is being awakened by pleasing him. That is the initiation. Now, if the initiation is not happening, it is just an external, so-called initiation, then one is still originally whatever we were doing, no, whatever motives we had for living, eating, sleeping, whatever, acting, working, those same motives are there. Maybe more have come because of other association. These are bija. Bija comes from association, desires. One may have a desire of becoming very big in the world. It doesn't matter whether one is doing business, whether one is doing a scientist job, or whatever. One could be just wants to be really big, big guy, or big knowledge, or big mystic siddhis, powerful. Even if one is practicing devotional service under the spiritual master, we maybe mishra bhakti, it may not become pure right now, even though one is as soon as we are surrendered to Srila Prabhupada, we are a sadhaka, like Padyama Prabhu is saying, a green mango. So we are a bhakti yogi, a devotee, but we are a green mango. It's not real mango, but there is great potential. We've gone under his shelter. So now we are a student. Now people say, oh, doctor, in India they say, or even a first year or second year student in medical college, they say, oh, Doctor Saab has come. Hey, doctor. But he's not actually doctor, he's learning, no? So why one is, when we are said that we are a pure, where we are devotee, Srila Prabhupada is saying, yeah, because we can become a devotee, like we say to any girl, we say Mataji. Why? Because in the future she can become a mother. She has the potential to be a mother. So, but we are really not pure devotee. We are not devotee, even when we are practicing under Srila Prabhupada, because we have so many other bijas, so many other bijas. So, but we also get this bij from Srila Prabhupada that we want to serve him, serve Krishna. But still it is Mishra Bhakti. It is mixed with these karma with bhakti, jnana with bhakti, yoga with bhakti, mixed. The Mishra Bhakti, they are called Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra Bhakti, like this. That goes on and on till so this is the whole point. If we are able to satisfy the spiritual master like fully, and he's completely pleased, then he will take away. It is not in our hand to take it away. That's why we are completely dependent on his mercy.
So I was just thinking, the example, the way we are giving, one is Ambrish Maharaj and then other devotees. So there are two aspects to understand Prabhu here also. One is already a pure devotee, and then he is acting in certain occupation, right? So that examples we cannot apply for the people who are not actually pure devotee. Ambrish Maharaj was already pure devotee. So he was then doing his all occupation. We have seen Yudhishthir Maharaj also pure devotee, Parikshit Maharaj also pure devotee. So then they were devotees first, pure devotees first, and then they were involved in certain other occupation or certain other duties. And maybe they after becoming a pure devotee, they are following a path of karma yogi or jnana yogi or dhyana yogi, whatever. But that won't apply to us because we are not yet pure devotee. As you're saying that we are mishrit. We are sometimes doing this, sometimes doing that. So unless and until we come to a platform where we are 100% pure and have only objective is, or purpose in our life is to love Krishna or have prema bhakti, till that point anything we do will be always mixed devotional service.
Yeah. Yeah, even
May I ask a question?
Srimati Radharani feels she is not a devotee because there is layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of devotional service which one can try to do and which one is not able to do. Even if jnana and karma are not there, so maybe so something like this that Srila Prabhupada says, distribute books. So one is distributing. Now this is great, no? This is devotion service, this is pure devotion service. But you see what happens is when we go out to distribute books, in the consciousness is one thinking, I distributed the book and I'm making an offering to Srila Prabhupada. See, that is one level of devotion service. Another level is to think, Krishna, I want you with me always to guide me, to stay with me all the time, and I want to please Srila Prabhupada, and please, please help me distribute this. Please engage me in distributing this book. And while doing the service, one is always being consciousness of the super soul, Lord Chaitanya with one, thinking of Srila Prabhupada, how is distributing. So that whole consciousness is going, and then a book is distributed, and that is also offered to Srila Prabhupada, that service and that result. See, so it keeps on going, no? More and more, more and more, more and more. This whole consciousness. So yeah.
Yeah, Prabhu. So what you said is right, that it depends on how we are executing also. But even though sometimes we see uh, some people have lot of passion and other activities, and due to which other gunas, due to which they are executing devotional service, in the way, in the process of doing this devotional service, I think all these gunas will also slowly get burnt up. And
I mean, the only way they get burnt up is the satisfaction of the spiritual master. That is the whole point. In that, there are so many things he is telling us to do. And if we show our sincerity to him that I want to do it, that's all he needs. He's a very simple person in that sense. Very simple instructions are there, just please him. That's all one has to do. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado. It's not a very, like, so that's why so simply, Krishna is saying like this here. How this transcendental knowledge is revealed one's heart, 10, 10, 10, 11. Very simply he's saying, to those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So in this purport, Srila Prabhupada then explains the Buddhi Yoga. In this verse, the word Buddhi Yogam is very significant. We may remember that in the second chapter, the Lord instructing Arjuna said that he had spoken to him of many things and that he would instruct him in the way of Buddhi Yoga. Now, Buddhi Yoga is explained. Buddhi Yogam itself is action in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence and yoga means mystic activity or mystic elevation. When one tries to go back home, back to Godhead, one takes fully to Krishna consciousness in devotional service. His action is called Buddhi Yogam. In other words, Buddhi Yogam is the process by which one gets out of the entanglement of this material world. The ultimate goal of the progress is Krishna. People do not know this. Therefore, the association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master are important. One should know that the goal is Krishna, and when the goal is assigned, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed and the ultimate goal is achieved. When a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in karma yoga. When he knows that the goal is Krishna, but he takes pleasure in mental speculation to understand Krishna, he is acting in jnana yoga. And when he knows the goal and seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness and devotion service, he is acting in Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, which is the complete yoga. This complete yoga is the highest perfection of life. A person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to a spiritual organization, but still, if he is not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to him without difficulty. The qualification is that a person always engage himself in Krishna consciousness and with love and devotion render all kinds of services. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be with love. If a devotee is intelligent enough, he will make progress on the path of self-realization. If one is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotion service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to him. And in the 11th verse, he says, out of compassion for them, I dwelling in their hearts destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. And in this, he explains that Prakashanda was a very influential scholar, and he derided Lord Chaitanya for being sentimentalism. Sometimes philosophers criticize devotees because they think that most of the devotees are in the mode of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. This is not a fact. They are very, very learned scholars who have put forward the philosophy of devotion. But even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literatures or of his spiritual master, if he is sincere in his devotion service, he is held by Krishna himself within his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is that one carry out devotion service in full Krishna consciousness. So only your devotion in Krishna is pleased, and then he reveals himself in the heart. So is the pleasure of the spiritual master is the key. And here he is saying that that one knows I need to get to Krishna, but we are addicted to the fruits. We want the disciples, we want the name, we want the money, which we see in a lot of devotees' activities, and a lot of my activities, I can say that. So one is in karma yoga, when one is doing mental speculations to understand Krishna, one is acting in jnana yoga.
Guru,
Yeah,
just like in the previous text, it was then satisfaction of the spiritual master. Then
yeah,
it was read below that properly heard and following the regulative principle. So properly hearing, what does that exactly mean? That means that the fourth thing, that spiritual master is as good as God.
yeah,
Uh, then it is properly heard.
yeah, yeah.
And the same thing said. They are the same thing, just like satisfaction of the spiritual master. First thing, that properly heard. Properly heard means that understanding is as good as God, and whatever he's saying, we have to follow that. That completely right, and we have to Bhagavatam. That means
First of all is this one who is faithful, has to become very faithful. Like faithful is like the loyalty, the faith that whatever he says, immediately we accept it. Immediately. It's perfect. He under his shelter. Whatever he is saying, immediately accept and try to do it. There is no like single sentence, single moment of doubt should come in the mind, hesitation, nothing. Total like that. That is the start. No? That is where one starts satisfying the spiritual master. Then of course then he's saying so many things, do this, do that, and we try our best in trying to execute that.
that is Ado Shraddha or Nishtha. That what is mentioned, that
So
faith in.
sadhu sangha, that is not the one. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about guru ashraya. Guru ashraya is the first of all is this thing, that whatever he's saying, it is perfect and exactly important for me. I mean, there is nothing else to be done. If he says so, immediately accepted. I need to do it. Now, one may not be able to do it because that's the whole process of devotion service, of burning these desires from the heart. But that is not a problem for the spiritual master. Spiritual master is pleased with the effort put to try to remove it. If one is not putting the effort, one is able to do it, and not putting the effort, then it's not pleasurable, no? That he is not really wanting Krishna. This 434, Srila Prabhupada explains this thing. One should be able to meet the test of the. What is that? The test. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. That's the thing. So, okay, we'll finish here. So I think we all should read this 434 purport and this one 4 Bhagavatam 2:422.
Can you put it in your in WhatsApp or Telegram?
2:422. To 422, then this Bhakti Lata Beach thing. Madhya 19:152. Madhya 19. Fifty-two. And 434. Four. Actually, I try to see the whether I am pleasing or not. Of course not. I see most of the time I'm not. But this is the test. The 435 is the test. Daily, morning and evening, one should see this. Morning. Evening test. Whether pleasing the this is the whole thing. 435, if one is pleasing, then we will start to know this. And when you have thus learned the truth, you will know that all living beings are but part of me, and they are in me and mine. And the result of 435 is, of course, we understand it culminates in this 1867, 68. Culminates in this 5, culminates in BG 1868. Okay. And then this 1868 will keep this consciousness this one. This 1507. 15.7. So 1868 and 15.7. If we 434 is being done and pleasing the spiritual master, it will culminate in 435, seeing everybody as part and parcel, which will culminate in 15.7 and 1868. I posted these there. And you can see how Srila Prabhupada is his consciousness. He lives that, he breathes that, he is personification of this consciousness. Because of seeing everybody as Krishna's part and parcel and struggling in the material world, he is dedicating everything for everyone. His every breath, everything he's giving, because this is Krishna's part, his Lord's part. So that's where this is so heartrending. Huh? Krishna is saying, Mame vamsho jeev loke jeev bhuta sanatana mana shashta indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses. So horrible to hear our Lord saying like this. Okay, Prabhus.
Oh yeah, I every time I forget this, that spiritual master is as good as God, and we should obey the instruction in Srimad Bhagavatam. Where it is mentioned, I forgot the reference.
This is in Nectar of Devotion, chapter 7, first page. The evidence of taking shelter of the spiritual master. And which is in also the 4 verses we are. So these are the 4 verses of taking shelter. Taking shelter in 4 verses are there, which is the first verse is Sakshadhari. Sakshadhari. Second is Nityam Bhagavata. Sevaya. And the third is Yasya Prasada. Fourth is Yasya Deve. Everything culminates in this Yasya Deve Para. So by this Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir is the final aim. So of all of this is Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir. By Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasado, that one gets the transcendental knowledge revealed in one's heart, by which one sees all the living entities as parts and parcel of Krishna, which is 435, and by which one would see one would see the Lord, how he's talking about, please help me. All these souls are my part and parcel are struggling in this world. So to do something about it. Of course, then Lord Chaitanya has come and he is giving the whole instruction, and we follow that. Okay. Hare Krishna. How are the cows? Go Brahman Hitaya Cha. Go Brahman Hitaya Cha. Okay. Okay, Prabhus. Hare Krishna. We'll see you next week, huh? Next week.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Plus, the restaurant
Hare
is
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.